Welcome to the Wisdom series. As many of you know, and maybe some of you don't know, I have been channeling a group of, energies, beings. I call it the wisdom because I don't know if it's my inner wisdom or some sort of outer source of wisdom. When I started doing my Patreon and thirdEyeChampagne.com, I started doing a monthly series where the wisdom would just speak on things. This year it's a little bit different. So in this series, the wisdom is actually answering questions asked by you, the viewers. All right, the first question. How would you describe the way a soul experiences its multiple lifetimes? Are they happening all at the same time? And if so, does the soul get to experience all of them? When a soul heals a big issue in one lifetime, what effect does it have in other lifetimes? Okay. So the first thing they're telling me, you have to think of lifetimes like threads on a coat. So you're the coat, but the lifetime are the threads. So while each thread is a part of the coat, it is also a thread unto itself. However, you cannot have a coat without all the threads. We could say these lifetimes are happening simultaneously, and this would be true. We could also say these lifetimes are happening chronologically, and this would also be true. It's both. It's both. It's with regards to a particle and a wave. It's the same theory. It's the same theory. It's the same introduction. It's the same thing. It is both. It is both chronological and it is both multidimensional, for you have lifetimes in other dimensions as well. We do not think of things in the terms of resolving issues, nor do we think of them as removing blocks, merely that a life progresses. It is only progression. It is merely progression. We would not characterize things in the state that you are removing blocks or even facing challenges, for it is only progression. So when a soul progresses in one lifetime, it will affect the other lifetimes. This happens both chronologically and simultaneously. So for instance, were you to, as you would put it, clear an issue in a lifetime you had in 1822, would it affect the lifetime you're having now? Yes. But it would have already affected it. So not only would it affect the soul in the past, but it would also affect the soul simultaneously at the same time it happened. We understand this is a difficult concept, but it is both coming from the past and instantaneously. It may also come from the future and still happen instantaneously. There is no time between lifetimes. There is no space between lifetimes. But there are instantaneous effects. Whatever one does in what we would term a previous lifetime or perhaps a future lifetime affects the lifetime that you are currently consciously living. So we could say to you also, look at it this way. Your lifetimes are on a carousel and your consciousness is in the middle. As the carousel turns, your consciousness focuses on one thing or another. This may be the best way to describe how lifetimes work, for there is no past, present, or future, but a refocusing of consciousness so that you may live multiple lifetimes in one space. The soul can neither move forward nor backward, but simply can turn around on the wheel. So we say also, with regards to time, looking at time, we've said to Kirsten multiple times, time is a flat circle. This is truth. The best way to describe time is by looking at a record, something you would put on a record player, a record, as it spins, as it moves. It is a flat circle, but it is also in movement. You can go forward or backward or even across the circle of time. Time only moves the way that you believe it moves in this atmosphere, because you believe it moves this way in this atmosphere. And it can move differently. It can move differently. And indeed, it typically does. Time is a concept. Time isn't correct. Time isn't real. Lifetimes, they're concepts. They're not correct. They are not real. There are only multiple consciousness levels of, not levels. No, that's not the right word they want. What is it? Facets. Multiple facets of consciousness. So as you focus on this particular lifetime, it would become the lifetime that you are living. Right now, you are focused on this particular lifetime. Kirsten is focused as Kirsten. Kirsten is focused in the year 2023, which we will say is a misnomer, a complete misnomer. Your years are completely off. The way you're labeling years are completely incorrect. But perhaps we'll save that for another day. When her focus shifts, she may find herself in a different lifetime, perhaps in the past, perhaps in the future, perhaps concurrent with this lifetime, for you can live multiple lifetimes concurrently in the same time space. However, we do not recommend this. Flat out, they're saying that. We do not recommend this, for it requires a bifurcation of your own consciousness. It's not easy to maintain. Typically, this is where you get diseases like schizophrenia, multiple personality disorder. People are trying to live multiple consciousness in the same time space. It's impossible. You cannot do it. It fractures the mind. What else do you have? What else do you have for me? I need more than pictures. Okay, we would put it to you yet another way. Think of your many lifetimes as a grid that goes vertically and intersects with itself horizontally. Together it makes a square, but if you look closely, you will see that each lifetime is one single thread, one single portion of the grid, going each way. At certain places, these grids will intersect. When these things intersect, it is because you are experiencing multiple lifetimes at once consciously. So for instance, perhaps you are working on a trauma, they're saying in utero, something that has occurred in utero in lifetime 2. You have the same trauma that had occurred for you in lifetime 10. Those will intersect. Those will intersect. And when that trauma is removed, when the consciousness expands to move beyond the trauma, because that's truly what you're doing when you are healing, when the consciousness expands to move beyond the trauma itself is negated both in lifetime 2 and lifetime 10. We hope this sufficiently answers your question.